Welcome back to Reading Bear. Today, we will take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
The first story is titled, I'm a guy dressed to go to dinner and carrying a purse, of course I work here. So, this happened last week. It was my wife's birthday, so we got dressed all fancy like dress pants, button-down shirt, blazer for me, elegant pants, blouse, jacket for her, and I took my wife out to our favorite restaurant for dinner. On the way, we stopped into a local shopping center because she wanted to look at some jackets, her being entirely unable to deal with anything less than suntan on the beach weather. The store we went into is a small one, with 3 girls working there, all wearing the clothes from that store, leggings, long shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, etc. As my wife goes about trying on different jackets and hoodies, I stood there with her purse on my shoulder, leaning on one of the display counters. Anyone who has been shopping with a member of the female persuasion knows that she needed to look at least 7 different options before choosing one. Being the decent kind of person my mother raised me to be, I helped the store staff by putting back the things she tried on and wasn't interested in. You know, putting back on the hanger and then back on the rack, nothing too difficult. As I'm hanging up her latest reject from the maybe pile, this mother and daughter come up to me and ask me if they have the hoodie I'm holding in a different size, color. I point out to them that I don't work there and that I'm just here with my wife, and point out the 3 girls working there. They don't seem to get it, so they ask again if I can't just look on the rack and see, which they could just as easily do themselves. Yes? I hang the jacket up, and take a step back so they can get a better look at me. Something seems to click in their eyes, and one of the girls who had been watching this came up, smiled and, I know, right, smile at me and asked them if they needed help. When my wife finally picked what she wanted, we paid and left. I told her the story and she got a good laugh out of it, saying I should wear her purse more often. Dinner was great, we love that restaurant. The next story is titled, Not a Museum Worker, but I Think You Knew That. Yesterday, I was exploring a local museum with my husband and some visiting friends. I'm wearing dark jeans, a large plaid blanket scarf, a wool coat, and my gigantic purse slung across it all. For reference, the employees all wear bright blue shirts emblazoned with the museum name over a dark long-sleeved shirt, with lanyards. We came out to where the entrance lobby and desk is, aka where lots of employees are standing, ready and waiting to assist you, and I unfortunately made eye contact with a woman. She was in a group of 3 or so, and they sounded American. I'm Canadian but living in the UK. She locks eyes with me, raises her hand, and starts to say, "Excuse me, WHE." I'm staring blankly into her eyes. I work in retail, and have for 11 years, so when I make eye contact with someone I tend to hold it and smile by reflex. Luckily she realized before she finished her sentence. Oh. Turns to her friends, she doesn't work here. There was literally a half-dozen employees, at least, directly behind her. Why she thought she should ask me, I don't know. Still waiting for my full mistaken identity moment though. The next story is titled, Just Because I Know What I'm Doing Doesn't Mean I Work Here. This happens to me on a regular basis, so I'd thought I'd share. I work for a small local restaurant that does a majority of their shopping at a large, wholesale store. I show up as soon as they open to try to avoid crowds and big lines. About 3 to 4 times a week, we spend anywhere from $800 to $1,200 per trip, so as you can imagine, the loads can get pretty big due to the fact that it's mostly produce. Since I'm there so often, I know where everything I usually need is, which makes me look like I'm working, because I am, rather than shopping because I go directly from item to item that I need. As you can probably imagine, many people mistake me for an employee, even though I clearly don't look like I work there. Tattoos, piercings, band shirts, skinny jeans, etc. I usually try to be as friendly as I can and help people if I know where their specified item is, but I also am working and need to get back as soon as possible so we can prep our food. On a normal trip I am usually stopped 3 to 4 times by older or oblivious customers asking where certain products are, taking products or boxes off my flatbed cart, or I am blocked off by somebody trying to get my attention, usually because I have my headphones in and I'm so sick of dealing with it at this point that I try to just ignore people, which I usually just reply to them with a shake of the head. The worst experience I've had there was when a disgruntled old man pulled my headphones out and tried to scold me for ignoring his wife. I was so shocked for a second that somebody would be so rude, that I couldn't muster up a nice word to say to this old dick, so I literally just laughed and walked away. The next story is titled, No, the Light-Up Santa Giraffe Doesn't Work at Target. About an hour before our annual cross-country Christmas party, my friend and I are out at Target shopping for the white elephant gift exchange that's happening at the party. As we're walking out of the toys area with our gifts in hand, some lady says, "Hey, where does this go?" And for a brief moment the two of us stood there, seeing if she would realize, but she didn't, and I let out the classic, I don't work here. She stood there for a second, taking that in, then said, "Oh really? Yeah, really." Now the odd part is that I wasn't walking around Target in a red shirt and khaki pants. I was wearing a full-body giraffe onesie, a Santa hat, giraffe socks, and my chest was wrapped in Christmas lights, all for the party. Furthermore, I was carrying, forgot to grab a cart, 20 individual Hot Wheels boxes that were threatening to topple at any moment. The price limit was $20, and Hot Wheels were $99 each, so naturally. So this woman, with a disappointed look on her face, had to stand there and think about how the employees were probably the ones with the Target uniform, and the Target name tags. No, the light-up Santa Giraffe doesn't work here, lady. The next story is titled, I even tried to help you but I still don't work here. A few years ago, me and my so worked for the same grocery chain but at separate stores, a few miles down the road from each other. We both worked in the same role, so we ended up working the same shifts most of the time and saw each other very little. One night, I got off early and still in uniform I stopped by his store to say hi and grab something before I went home. I guess I technically worked there? I took off my name tag and threw on a jacket hoping I wouldn't get stopped while in the store, but of course you can spot us a mile away. This lady approaches me on the wine aisle. I have a bottle of wine and my keys in my hands and I'm on my phone. I'm obviously not working, but she approaches me anyway asking for help. All the stores are set up differently, so I don't know where everything is. I can guess but I don't know. My aisle 7 isn't the same aisle 7 at his store. She asks to help her find something and I politely tell her that I don't work at this store, I'm just passing through, but I guess where the item could be because it's the least I could do. That wasn't good enough. She gave me this blank look, and demanded I help her anyway because it's still my job and she can't find anyone else. I just said no and walked away and let her find her crap herself. My so said she tried to complain about me and she was pissed that the manager wouldn't do anything. The next story is titled, I did have a work shirt on. I got off work one day from my retail job and was immediately called by my GF. Her tires were low on air and she never filled them before, so she asked me to meet her at the local gas station, Circle K, because they have an air pump. I say sure, no problem, and drive there. When I get there I see her parked by the pump, so I go over and talk to her for a minute before going inside to talk to the actual employees about using their air pump. They gave me the tool to test air pressure and told me the pump was on. So I go out, check all of GF's tires, then fill up the flat ones. While I'm doing this I'm in my t-shirt from work, which is white and red, Circlix colors, and it says staff on the back in large letters. When I'm done GF takes off and I'm about to give back the pressure gauge inside when an old lady pulls up and asks me to check her front tire. I was confused for a minute before I realized she didn't know I didn't work there. She was pretty nice, so I did it for her anyway, but when I told her it was done she noticed the front of my shirt said a different workplace and figured out I didn't work there. It was pretty funny and we both laughed about it, but she seemed somewhat embarrassed. The next story is titled, Yes, my shirt says staff, just not for this event. For the last 6 years I have been a volunteer member of a committee that puts on a fundraising event. We are issued t-shirts with the event logo on the front and staff in large block letters on the back. As a promotion for the event, we also run a float in a parade that happens a couple weeks before our event. Since the event is a fundraiser and we want every dollar we make to go towards the kids, but we also want the most exposure we can get for our event, we wear the same shirts to the parade. Parades take a long time to line up. If the parade starts at 11, people start lining up about 8. If the parade has 100 plus floats and entries, the floats, groups, bands, etc. can line up on several streets in an area covering several square blocks, and it can get confusing where you're supposed to be. Couple that with participants getting bad info from the people they are in the float with, and it can get frustrating. Here is where the IDWHL moments come in. This story happened the first 15 minutes I was there for the first of these parades. I'll be me, and the confused, lost lady will be CL. I'm visiting with a fellow committee member about bounce houses when I feel a tapping on my shoulder and turn around. I see a middle-aged woman with a "Let me see your manager" haircut in a "Local Dance School" t-shirt. CL, sir. Where is local dance school? Me, I have no idea, but I have a parade map around here somewhere I can check for you if you like. CL, well, what are you waiting for? I'm late. Me, okay, sure then. I'm not sure why this woman decided to pick on me, but I try to be helpful when I can, so I grab my paperwork out of my gaiter and show her the map and float list. Me, pointing at map, it looks like you guys are on George Street. CL, well, where is that? Me, George is the cross street about a block that way, pointing south. Your group should be to the left, on the left side. CL, fine. Thanks I guess, but you really should be helping people and not visiting with your friends. I turned back to my group with a WTF look and found them as confused as I was. Over the course of the next 30 minutes we had 10 more people approach our group and ask where they're supposed to be, most of them nice. It finally occurred to us that people saw the staff on the back of our shirts and assumed we were parade staff. We put our heads together and decided to help people that were nice about it, but give them a flyer to our event as they left. It's become our tradition every year since. What about rude people, you ask? I guess I have one of those faces that draw entitled a holes, because I tend to get 90% of them. First of all, they don't get a flyer. Neither do they get good directions. The next story is titled, I Just Live Here, Man. So, in southwestern Ontario, Canada, there's a decent amount of snow that just came down. Enough to cause road delays, accidents, stuck cars, etc. My apartment has underground parking which is accessed by a long laneway with a decline at both the entrance to the laneway and the parking garage door. As I came out of the garage this morning to head to work, I had to evil navel my way up the decline, which I have to admit felt pretty good. As I continued along the laneway, I got to the end which the city's snowplow had blocked pretty heavily with snow. I was crawling my way through and then someone, who saw me at the end of the driveway by the way, pulled and I had to stop or else I would have hit him. This caused me to get stuck. Turns out he was just pulling in to turn around, which kind of pissed me off, but hey, these things happen. So after a lot of trying to free myself with my little snow brush that could, another user of the parking garage came by. By some grace of God, he had a shovel. He and I take turns clearing the end of the laneway and he and I eventually get my car unstuck and out into a nearby empty driveway. I'm already late for work at this point, so I decide to stick around and help him a bit. It's the least I can do. After going at the pile of snow for about 5 minutes, close to throwing up because I had eaten breakfast about 20 minutes ago, someone comes up to the end of the laneway. This exchange then occurs. Guy in car, hey. Your company should really work on getting here earlier. Preferably with a plow. Do you have one coming or are you going to clear this laneway all by yourself with a shovel? Me, hey man, I just live in the building. I'm not with any company. I'm just helping the guy that helped me. Guy, wait, so you're not going to clear the laneway for me? Me, I'm wearing dress pants, snow boots and a windbreaker. Do I really look like I'm here to shovel an entire road? Guy, alright, well I guess I'm just going to have to sit here and wait for you. Me, yeah, helping isn't appropriate. I'll get back to work. Duck off, man. The next story is titled, I Don't Sell Lottery Tickets. After leaving work last Friday, I stopped at a gas station to pick up some beers and snacks before heading over a friend's house. I pay the cashier, he hands me my change and I move away from the register, because there's a long line of customers behind me. I set my supplies down on a stand-alone cooler for ice cream treats, which is 10 feet away from the registers. I then put the paper money in my wallet and the coins in my pocket, zip my coat up and put my winter hat back on. I'm wearing a black Columbia winter coat with a Cleveland Cavaliers winter hat. As I'm looking down and putting my gloves on, this exchange takes place. Confused customer, am I too late for the pick 3? Me, no reaction, no idea that he's talking to me. CC, hey, what time do they draw the pick 3 numbers at? Me, finished putting my gloves on and grab my gear. As I look up, I realize that he's talking to me. I have no idea. Why would you think that I would know that? CC, at this point, he realizes that I don't work for GetGo. Sorry, man. I thought you were running the lotto stand. Me, no, but if you have the winners for tonight, I'll go halves with you. I just thought it was funny that he thought some dude wearing full winter gear, standing at an ice cream cooler with a 12-pack, was slanging lottery tickets. The next story is titled, IKEA Worker, Surely? Kia story. I had done my due diligence and had been on the website and wrote down a few items to check. With a list in hand I went shopping. Oh, and I had a tape measure in my pocket. I was wearing a suit and had my own work tag attached to my hip. For those that don't know IKEA, you choose your items by writing down their number and then at the end of the store you collect your items from their inventory section. I had two large flatbed trolleys loaded with items and needed a worker to take something down using a lift from a higher shelf. I was stood waiting at customer service when a couple approached me. Excuse me, can you help me find? No sir, sorry I don't work here, I'm just waiting for a worker myself. No drama. 5 minutes later, the worker was up the lift getting my item and I was talking to him and another customer came to me. Excuse me. Oh wait, I don't have a bright yellow shirt on, go talk to one of those. Okay, no drama. 5 minutes later the same couple approached me again. Excuse me, can you help? I laughed at them and did, still no. They said they just wanted to know where X was and still couldn't find a worker. Actually I did know where this was and so I told them. As I directed them, another lady stood still and waited till I'd finished and asked me another question. Hey, I don't work here. Finally I got to the tills and there was a queue and the same couple from twice before ended up behind us. Then a worker came forward and said to me, "Ma'am, please step forward, we're about to open a new counter." Well, this couple behind us nearly died. They were convinced I was the store boss and was having special treatment, haha. We all laughed. The end. The next story is titled, Do You Need Police? One of the many times I was mistaken for a store employee. I was in a dollar store where employees wear green shirts. I went there on break from my job at 911, so I was wearing a grey hoodie that identified me as a police department dispatcher and black dress pants with a police radio clipped to my hip. My department requires dispatchers to take a radio on break to monitor radio traffic. At this particular small store no one carries radios, much less huge radios with lots of talking. I was meandering my way through the kitchenwares when a woman pulls her cart to the end of the aisle and stops in front of me. She looks at me with a crinkled up face and says, hey, where is the something I don't remember? I try to be nice to people and politely tell them I don't work in the store. But that day something about her blocking my aisle and yelling at me to get my attention while I try to enjoy my break just didn't sit well with me. I tell her I don't work there and go back to my browsing. Then she gets huffy with me and says in a not nice tone, well, you look like a manager here. You have one of those radios and keys. You look like you work here. I stop and turn around and point at my hoodie. This says police dispatch and this is a police radio. I don't work here. Then she lets out the biggest sigh and mumbles something I didn't want to hear and goes on about her way. Sigh and mumble all you want, lady, I still don't work at the dollar store. If you need police, however. The next story is titled, First Class Mix-Up. Years ago I was living in a small city and needed to get a ride to the train station across town. This was before Uber and Lyft existed, so the quickest way to catch a cab from my apartment was to call one of several car services that operated within the area. These companies had radio dispatched fleets that mainly consisted of Lincoln Town Cars and Ford Crown Vics. I called up one company I had used before named First Class Car Service, and got a 10-minute ETA for pickup. Enough time to finish getting ready and head out. As I step outside, I immediately spot a dark red Crown Vic idling right in front of my building. Good timing, I thought. As I head to the car and open up the rear passenger side door, I lean in and say, "Hi, are you first class?" The driver whipped around, and like a deer in headlights, froze and stared at me with a look of shock and confusion. I said again, "Are you first class car service?" This time I could see him visibly relax a little, but before he said anything I started to pick up on a few details about the car and the way the driver was dressed. Most notably that he was wearing a gun holster. I realized that this was not a cab, but an unmarked police vehicle. Turns out the guy froze up not just because I got the drop on him, but also because he was confused about who I was, that knew he was a detective and why I was asking if he was detective first class grade. Once it clicked that I had mistaken him for a car service, we had a laugh about it. I apologized and my real cab showed up a minute later. So yeah, thanks officer for not shooting me for thinking you worked for a cab company. The next story is titled, Look, Don't Touch. My friend has a hearing disorder and has to use a hearing aid. She has 2 sets of hearing aids, some very discreet ones that look like in-ear earrings, example, Google, fashionable hearing aids, and another set that look kind of like wireless earbuds. So there she is, at Target, and some old lady starts getting grumpy near her. My friend was dressed casually and might have been wearing a red top, she doesn't remember. The old lady was saying something nearby while my friend was browsing grocery goods and my friend didn't hear it, so she tapped her earbud to turn up the volume and looked politely over at the old lady, who had asked where something was. My friend said, "I'm sorry, I don't work here," and went back to shopping. So the old lady walked up to her and tried to pull out her earbud, saying something along the lines of, "Now listen here." Now first, the lady shouldn't have touched my friend at all. Secondly, if you have a hearing aid you know that removing one makes a loud squealing sound and if it's not done right, it can hurt. So my friends did what any reasonable person would do in response. She laid the idiot out with a single punch to the jaw. "Do not ducking touch me," she seethed, grabbing the earbud where it had fallen. Police were called. The lady wanted to press charges but the security tapes were reviewed then and there, and the police ended up asking my friend if she wanted to press charges. She declined. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comment.